Hey guys, hello and welcome to Babar Azam, the World Cup series, and I've been on the road this entire weekend, so I have not been able to make my typical video from my home. So I'm making this while driving. So forgive me, but I just wanted to make sure that we cover the game that happened yesterday, Pakistan versus New Zealand. It was a pretty anticipated game. And we saw that New Zealand ended up scoring quite many runs, and we're gonna get to that part in a little bit. But I don't think we can have a proper conversation about this game without very quickly talking about Fakhar Zaman and his inning. क्या खेलता है यार ये, unbelievable. In the moment, he feels that he has control of the situation and conditions. He just toys with the bowling, and all of his weaknesses all of a sudden turn into his strengths. कि वो ऑफ स्टंप के बाहर से भी घुमा के जो है मिड विकेट पे खेल सकता है, लॉन्ग ऑन पे खेल सकता है. All of a sudden his hand speed is, I think, what makes Fakhar Zaman's style of batting possible. And whenever his hand speed is out, मीनिंग कि कोई भी बॉलर आके अगर उसकी हैंड स्पीड में ज़रा सा भी जो है कंफ्यूजन डाल दे, then Fakhar Zaman is not Fakhar Zaman. But the moment he regains that, it is so difficult to stop him, even if you bowl good deliveries, because he knows what you're trying to do, right? He knows that Bolt is going to try and swing the ball away from him, and then he noticed that Bolt is not getting any swing, so straight away he went after him with that 6 over square leg. और बस वो जब उसको पता चल गया ना कि the ball after the bounce is just going to skid on to the bat, and there is no real swing that Bolt is going to get. That was it, right? That's exactly what he needed to know to feel confident. और फिर क्या उसने जो है भाई, you know how a lot of my Indian friends say कि उसने बचा दी फिर न्यूजीलैंड की. I mean, especially that one ball, I think it was Southie, right? Southie bowled that slower ball that he basically just washed it onto the bat and hit it over long off so easily. And I understand the pitch is good. I understand the boundary isn't long, but to be able to hit that shot so cleanly takes some serious timing and talent. So very good to see. And I thought Babar did a really good job, playing second fiddle to Fakhar Zaman in that inning. But I am seeing, though, that Babar is slowly but surely throwing caution to the wind when it comes to, if he sees the ball, he is going after it, which is good to see. और एक बार ना बाबर को ये समझ में आ जाए ये बात कि यार इस लेवल पे जहाँ मैं खेल रहा हूँ अब, he is a proven talent, right? Now he has two choices in his career. एक is कि the first choice is that he can safely continue to play the way he plays, and yes, he will break a lot of records. Yes, he will go down as he already, in my opinion, is the greatest batsman Pakistan has produced. It's just a matter of waiting 4 or 5 years for that judgment to be clear and proven. But he's on his way, unless God forbid something bad happens. So that's one choice, right? He continues his merry way, and he's going to end up as not only Pakistan's greatest, but one of the greatest batsmen to have played the game in pretty much all formats. Or the other path is that he decides that, you know what, I am going to not care about records. I don't necessarily care about going down as the greatest batsman. I want to win games. And I want to win not the games that are easy to win, I want to win difficult games. And I want to become the guy that can win games from even 10 runs and over required, 12 runs and over required in any format. The question is, does he want to become that guy? Because I can promise you, the day he decides to become that guy, he will become that guy. Because he's extremely talented. He's extremely strong when it comes to his mind. He has very good control over his game. He understands what his strengths and weaknesses are and where he needs to work on if he wants to convert some of those weaknesses into his strengths. He knows all of that. But the question is, what does he want? How was he groomed? Who are his advisors? Who are his coaches right now that he trusts? What is his dad saying, right? His dad basically is his closest ally, his advisor, his friend, his guide, his coach, everything. The question is, what is Babar Azam thinking? And whatever choice he makes, I think he's going to make us happy. But we just have to understand and respect the choice he's going to make. He cannot be both, right? He just can't be both. Because if he's going to try and be both, then he's going to always get stuck in tough situations. Because it is easy to go back to being defensive, but it is very difficult to get out of that mindset. So if Babar is to come out of that mindset and take the route that someone like Kohli did, or someone like AB de Villiers did, then all kudos to him. If he doesn't, still kudos to him, because either way he's going to have major contribution. The only thing is, if he does choose the first route where he basically is going to go, for the runs and not necessarily miraculous runs or high strike rate centuries, then in that case he's going to have to understand that he's going to need someone like Kohli in his team. If he's not going to become that, he's going to need someone like Klaassen in his team if he is not going to become that. People like Fakhar Zaman will come and go, and even if they stay in the team for a long time, sometimes they simply won't work. Like what was happening to Fakhar Zaman this entire year before the World Cup. So he needs to figure that out. He can't have him and Rizwan both playing second fiddle to everybody else. Because with that approach, we know what's going to happen, right? So there's a lot that Babar needs to think about, especially if he is going to remain captain. If he is to not remain captain, I think part of this is going to become easier for him, right? And he's just going to the decision is going to be much easier for him. And he's going to have to play the situations and not worry about the team combination, who's batting at the other end. He's just going to play his game. But yeah, guys, let's see what happens. But kudos to Fakhar Zaman for producing one of the finest ODI World Cup innings that we have seen in some ways. Even though, if you look back in the past of Pakistan's cricket legacy in ODIs, we've had good players. Saeed Anwar, Inzamam, Mohammad Yusuf, Javed Miadad, all these guys. But no one has really played any big impactful inning, if I'm being honest, right? I mean, Javed Miadad's greatest strength was that he would just stay at the wicket. I mean, I understand that back in the day that was considered an achievement, but if you think about it, in 1992 he still wouldn't have won the game for the team without Inzamam's inning. He still wouldn't have gotten to 250 in the final without Inzamam and Wasim Akram. We were literally 150 in 40 overs, so they had to score 100 runs even then in the last 10 overs. Heck of an achievement though, on such a big ground. The old MCG boundaries back in the day, I think, were much bigger than what they are now. But anyway, coming back to my point about Fakhar Zaman. Fakhar Zaman's inning is, I don't think we've ever seen an inning like that. I mean, we've had Shahid Afridi's, we've had Imran Nazir's back in the day, but we have never seen an inning of this brutality coming from a Pakistani batsman, right? Which tells you, I mean, I understand that we lost those 4 games and we've said so many bad things about Babar and his team and all these players, but I'm telling you, this team, on paper, man to man, talent wise, these are the best ODI players we've ever had. I don't care what any of these so-called experts say on TV, whether it's Wasim Akram, Misbah ul Haq, Shoaib Malik, Moin Khan, Rashid Latif, any of these guys. I'm telling you, the current lot, these are the best ODI players we have ever had. Yes, there are some players in the team that either don't belong in the ODI format or they have not played enough ODIs, like Haris Rauf and a bunch of other people, yes. But I'm telling you, overall, these are the best players at world stage that we've had. They are doing well in a World Cup. They're taking on teams. They're trying to get back into the World Cup, and they may not. Most likely they won't. But to show the character of coming back twice now, right, in World Cups on world stage from a completely, dire stage is crazy. We've never seen that. 2003, we got knocked out in the first round. 2007, we got knocked out in the first round. And when you guys get a chance, just Google the picture of the squad, Pakistan squad that played in 2003. On paper, it was much stronger than 1999 even. But what happened to them? So yeah, guys, I mean, it's these guys that are playing right now. We just think sometimes that the olden players were good, like Saeed Anwar and all of those guys. But I'm telling you guys, this team we have, these are the best ODI players Pakistan's ever had, barring the few, that have not played enough. And not just ODI players, just in general. One, they're loyal to the country. They give it every single ounce of energy they've got. They're working very hard. Even if they have limited talent, they work very, very hard, much harder. And they're definitely fitter than the guys in the past. Sure, they're not as fit as they should be, international standards wise, but they're getting better. And look, I mean, to have the mental strength to still fight after basically being, kicked out of the World Cup. If you really think about it, they have been out since that game that they lost to India. They mentally were out. But to be able to fight, to show character, to score runs, to come very close to beating South Africa, but still not giving up mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and still be in this situation where you're dominating New Zealand after they scored 400, it's amazing. And I don't know if you guys saw, but there was an interview of Babar Azam and Fakhar Zaman right after the game where they were talking, and look at the confidence of those two. They were ready to chase down 400. They were confident that they were going to chase down 400 after that start. They didn't think 400 was that big a score. They in fact thought that they ended up saving 30 to 40 runs in the end by bowling well, because the pitch was so good. And that's what I want to hear from these guys, that for them to finally realize that 300 and 400s are very doable in 50 over cricket now. You have 2.5 times more overs than a T20. Most of the players in big teams are similar to the T20 format. They understand the ODI temperament, and they go bang from ball one. If not, some teams go bang from ball one, some teams go bang from 11th, 12th over, some teams go bang from the 20th over like South Africa. But 400 is a real possibility, and these guys are finally getting that, which is really, really good to see, guys. I don't know what's going to happen, guys, when it comes to, the future games. Pakistan desperately needs Sri Lanka to beat New Zealand. So that means that we still don't hold our own destiny. We're not in charge of it, and we're going to be watching cleanly as to what's going to happen in Sri Lanka and New Zealand game. The good thing is that Pakistan's game is the last game of the World Cup. So Pakistan's going to know ahead of time if it's even a realistic possibility for them to make it. Afghanistan, of course, if they win both their games against Australia and South Africa, they're going to go through. So let's see what happens there. But we're going to be quietly hoping some miraculous stuff happens. But most importantly, and I really want all of us to understand this, that Pakistan, if they win the next game, they will end the World Cup on a very, very good note. We should be very, very happy with them, with their performance. We should be critical of what happened earlier. We should be critical that why we're still not playing a leggy every game. 6 runs an over for a leggy on those pitches is nothing, but he will get you some wickets. So they need to go back to Osama Mir, stick with him, and after the World Cup, they need to start grooming Abrar for the future. And they also need to consider Zaman to be Mohammad Wasim's backup, similar kind of bowlers in death situations. But yeah, guys, this is exciting times for us again. Enjoy this. We are in a situation where no one's gonna laugh at us. We are becoming a bit of a force in whoever we play against. The end points we cannot really control necessarily, but as long as we continue to play good cricket, we should be happy. We should support this team. And whenever we see these experts, these so-called experts, who I'm telling you, if you look at the stats, compare them to these guys that are playing right now, they don't even come close to these guys. Our current guys take on the biggest players in the world head on. They're never nervous. We couldn't ever do that. We just celebrate a few wins we had against India in the 90s, which were nothing. But anyway, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe this video. We're going to be talking more. Again, apologies for this car video. I'm going to be doing better next time. You guys take care. Until next time, on Babar Azam, we'll talk again. Take care. Bye.